Okay, yeah. Welcome to episode 2 of the Student Lounge. We had a crazy response from the first episode. We were very surprised. We reached over 1,100 views. I think exactly 1,197 views from this recording, which was quite amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Yeah, what's up, guys?
Yeah, so we got quite a few comments on our last video. Um it was all positive response. We had some
Yeah,
suggestions as well. One of them was maybe touch on some kind of advocacy for something. Maybe we might do a dedicated episode for that later.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
just to be a little more enthusiastic in these.
yeah. Well, this is a new thing for all of us, so I think that will just come naturally after a while when we do more
yeah,
of these.
exactly. Yeah,
And of course, we have a new member today with us, San.
Hey everyone, I'm San, and I'm glad to come on the podcast. And I think I'm looking forward to having a lot of interesting discussions.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So
Yeah.
we also got a comment saying, next episode, can you introduce yourselves more and explain the IB? So we will do that. First, so we all go to the same international school, and in the school we take the International Baccalaureate. And that is, so in the UK, you take A levels, so this is that equivalent. But in the IB, you take 6 subjects, 3 are high levels, and 3 are standard levels. And then you also take another subject called Theory of Knowledge. And then there's also something called the extended essay that you have to do, and also CAS, which is creativity, activity, and service. So should we just go around introducing ourselves and say what 6 subjects we're going to do?
yeah, sure. Let's do it then.
All right. Rafa, do you want to go first?
Yeah, of course. So, my name is Rafa, and the 6 subjects that I've chosen to do for IB over the 2-year course: high-level history, mathematics applications and interpretation, high-level language and literature, Italian ab initio, environmental systems and societies, and I also be doing economics high level.
All right, nice. Also, where are you from? Where are you born?
Oh, I'm half Italian, half Irish, but
Nice,
I've
nice.
spent most of my life living in England, so yeah.
Nice. Son, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So my name is San. I'm Turkish, but I've lived in England for a bit over a year now. And for the IB, I'm actually taking 4 higher level subjects. I'm planning on dropping one afterwards to standard level. But my higher level subjects are math, analysis, economics, physics, and chemistry. And my standard level subjects are Spanish ab initio and English language and literature.
Nice. That's good. All right. Advait?
Yeah, so hello, my name is Advait. For the IB course, my higher levels that I'm taking are math, physics, and English, language and literature. And for my standard levels, I have environmental systems and societies, Spanish ab initio, and film.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so I'm Akash. I was born here, lived here all my life. My 6 subjects for my 3 high levels are history, literature, and economics. And my standard level are Spanish B, ESS, math application. So I think, yeah, me and Rafa seem to be more humanities focused, whereas you
Yeah.
guys seem to be more STEM focused.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention, I'm from India, but I lived here in England most of my life.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it gives kind of a roundness to this podcast. There's 2 humanities students and 2 STEM students.
Yeah.
Quite interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice mix. Yeah.
You guys
So-
had to say, what were you going to say, Advi?
No, I was just saying, yeah.
Oh, okay, so I just wanted to ask a question about the IB. So if you guys had to say what was your favorite subject so far, what would you guys pick probably?
I personally think history high level has been really interesting.
Yeah,
I think that's more personal preference because I've always been interested in modern history, and up until now, we've usually just done ancient history. So it's a nice change that IB is all modern history, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah,
yeah, that's quite interesting actually, because I haven't taken history for IB. All I've done in history is like ancient civilizations and things like that.
Yeah, I personally just don't enjoy that stuff in
Yeah.
history.
yeah. Modern history is better. It's more like it's also like very interesting in terms of like reading about the authoritarian states such as
Yeah,
Italy, Germany, about how they like rose to power, and it's also my
yeah.
favorite subject as well.
What about Advait Son? What about you guys?
Right now, I think my I like film as well as math.
Yeah,
Right now, both of them are quite enjoyable subjects. In math, it's very challenging and I enjoy that.
yeah.
And in film, it's something creative and something exciting to do. So I enjoy that a lot as well.
What are you doing in film right now?
We're looking at realism style of films, and so things like Hunger Games we looked at, and
Oh, cool.
that has like a mix of realism and non-realism. And you can see the contrast within the film.
Wait, can you just explain what realism is?
So realism is something where the director is trying to achieve the most realistic film as they can. So often they might use a shaky camera or not too many
Oh,
props or minimal lighting, natural light.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Son, what about you? What's your favorite subject?
I really like economics right now. I think it's really interesting. But like Adve, I also like math. It's a nice challenge, you know. But
Nice.
I think economics and math do have a bit of overlap in that, you know, economics
Yeah,
uses a bit of math to do analysis on countries' economies. So I find that
yeah.
pretty interesting.
I feel like math probably helps with economics a lot as well.
Yeah, not that much in the IB, but I think especially if you're going to go on to study economics in
Yeah,
college, it plays a big role.
yeah.
Actually, I remember on Wednesday when we had Careers Day, I was talking to one of the people. I forgot his name, but he was an investment banker, and he was talking a lot about what he did in his job, and he talked a lot about analysts that are that are part of his team,
Oh
and
yeah.
they create mathematical models to predict where the market will go in the future.
Mm.
So I think you like in the real world you can really see the overlap there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh yeah, speaking of career day, how is that for everyone?
Yeah, it was really interesting to like hear the different types of jobs. Obviously, some of the parents also go to have their child in the school, and it's from ranging to like business and to law. It's interesting to see how different like perspectives
Mm.
in terms of jobs can be.
Yeah, I agree.
What about for you
I
guys?
appreciated how there was a lot of variety in how the school could include that, and a lot of the people did have a lot of very good qualifications, which I was surprised by. They were very qualified in their fields, and I think it's very interesting to hear stuff from them.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
there was a
really
lot
good.
of people. A lot of people speaking. There was the school managed to
Yeah,
like
and it was
bring.
quite a wide variety of things. So we went from like fashion designers to engineers, which was quite crazy.
And
Yeah, exactly.
it's especially important right now because we're kind of not picking but choosing the direction of our
Yeah,
careers soon when we apply to university. So it was quite helpful. Quite helpful.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen on the news? We're going back to school on the 8th.
Yeah, that's good. Finally.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm sick of this now.
Yeah, honestly,
Sick.
it's the same. It's good to be going back into the
Yeah.
classroom.
Especially we're IB, we need to be in school.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's going to help a lot with the extended essay, especially for me because I do chemistry. I'm going to have to do a lab,
yeah.
and so
Oh yeah, it's
if school wasn't
practical, is it?
open, yeah, right, yeah.
How's that going for you?
It's going pretty well. I have to write my first reflection over this weekend. Um, I'm doing it on pollution of the oceans by sunscreens. It's really interesting because you don't really think about how sunscreens might have an impact on the oceans when you actually
Yeah,
apply
that's
it
true.
and go to swim. Yeah.
I didn't even realize it did have an impact.
Yeah.
I think it bleaches the corals in the ocean, so it's pretty damaging, especially to those types of plants. You know.
Yeah. There must be like environmentally friendly sunscreen then.
Yeah, I think there are a few varieties, but I think the most used one is I think the most damaging, which
Oh
is
yeah.
not good. Yeah.
Often those environmentally friendly products are also more expensive. So a lot of the majority of the people go for the cheaper option, even though they
Yeah,
don't
true.
know what impact it has.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're returning back to school on 8th of March now, which is
Yeah,
maybe
finally.
about a week away. So
Yeah, it's
what are you
coming.
guys' views on that?
I'm quite surprised that even the teachers haven't got vaccinated yet. I'm not sure why they're not front line for like that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should
And
be
actually,
priority.
yeah, we're gonna be getting tested twice a week, every week for the rest
Yeah.
of the
How
time,
do
which
you think they're
is,
gonna do that? Do you think they're gonna do it like by homeroom or something? I wonder how.
I think it's like a home test. So they
Oh, it's a home
make you
test.
take a test home, and then
Oh, okay.
your parents
Yes,
do it for you.
oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah,
There's a lot of trust involved in that procedure.
yeah. Because if your
Many
parents
people.
just can't be bothered, then
Yeah. Many people might not.
Oh, has anyone had the test yet? How bad is it?
yeah, I've had it twice.
Yeah, I've
How
had the
is it?
swab.
It's
Was
not like one. I had it once when I was actually sick, and
yeah.
that time it was bad. Like it didn't feel nice at all.
Oh,
And then one time I had to get it just to check that I didn't have COVID, even though
yeah.
I wasn't feeling ill. So that time it wasn't bad. That time
But
it was
wait,
fine.
is the test that we're gonna do, is that the one where you have to go all the way up in your nose? Or is that
Yeah, I
not the
think
one?
so.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it? Oh
must
my
be.
god.
I've
Great.
had that twice. It's not fun.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to do it twice a week. That's horrible.
We'll
That's
probably
kind
get used to it though.
What do you say, son?
that's kind of disturbing. I mean, it's like I've seen a lot of videos of the people, getting that thing up their noses. It's kind of weird to see. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't feel that bad in person, but watching it,
Yeah.
it isn't that pleasant.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
it felt okay when I wasn't actually sick.
It's
Like I
really
didn't.
unpleasant in my opinion. It's so unpleasant. I did not like it because it goes right up the nose.
Yeah,
Mm.
So
yeah,
yeah,
and
that's not fun.
government's slowly gonna ease stuff up over the next 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
I find it
excited.
crazy. I find it crazy that teachers are not considered key workers. I don't
Yeah, I
understand.
know that they should be because they would be coming into contact with the students all the time.
Yeah. Huh.
Mm.
So that's crazy.
So on 12th April, I can finally get a haircut.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Finally.
Imagine we're all gonna be coming into school with not with crazy hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't had a haircut I think since October.
That's
Oh yeah, that's actually same. I think.
It's
Oh,
the
I don't think I've
longest.
had one since August.
Oh my god.
It's been a long time.
Oh yeah, you've had so long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's pretty long.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And also, Boris has said something like 21st June. There'll be no restrictions. I don't think that's going to actually happen. But
You know,
Yeah.
there's a petition to make that a bank holiday.
sorry, what did you say?
They're making a petition to try and make June 21st a bank holiday.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
yeah.
I think that's like around the exact same time we break up from school as well.
We break up on the 18th.
Oh yeah,
Really?
that's perfect. That's actually perfect.
I thought we usually break up at like 1st July.
Sorry?
I thought we usually end school at around 1st July or 30th June.
No, it's always like mid-June, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we finish mid-June and start mid-August.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Does that mean like you can go to like music festivals and stuff after that date? It seems a bit weird because there are like thousands of people at some festivals.
Yeah.
that's
interesting.
kind
Well,
of
I think they do it. They mean, but by then everyone should be vaccinated, so then it will be okay for
Okay.
that to
Yeah.
happen.
I
But
think
then
as long as the death rates go down, it should be
Yeah.
okay.
they're
Yeah.
being really productive with the vaccinations actually.
yeah. It's the numbers have been good.
Didn't it just now they're going to start doing under 40s, under 50s, right?
Mhm.
Quite impressive. I think we're the most productive country in Europe to do this.
Yeah, I think we have the most vaccines in the world, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though.
Oh, I thought it was Canada.
It could be. I don't know. I'm just saying it with no
Yeah,
evidence.
I
Nice.
think it's because the vaccine is produced here. At least one of the companies they produced here.
Oh yeah,
And I
is
think
it the Oxford
it's
one?
Oxford AstraZeneca one. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's strange. My dad got the vaccine. He got the Pfizer one. And my mom's got the Astra. I don't even know how to say it, but that one.
AstraZeneca one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you guys will get vaccines when they're available?
Yeah.
Well, our age, we will probably be the last to get it.
Yeah, definitely the last. But
yeah,
some people have some conspiracy theories about the vaccine.
of course they do. No, I trust the science. I'll get it.
Yeah. You're not
It's
worried
worked
it's
so
gonna
far.
change your DNA?
I do not. I'm not. Are you?
No.
Alright,
Maybe a little bit.
I think we can stop there, right?
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Son, we can go into your topic now if you want.
All right. Sure. I
So
can
just
start with that.
you can just start it. Like I read an article.
Mhm.
Something like
Okay.
that. Okay.
All right.
Just clap when you're gonna start.
All right. Okay, so I was reading an article this week. It was on The Economist, and
Yeah.
there's a pretty interesting graphic on there. There's like a pedigree, I think it's called, of all of the COVID-19 mutations that have popped up around the world. And it shows the ones that are like associated with antibody resistance. So it's possible that some of those variants of the virus could be resistant in some ways to the vaccine. And it's the first time I saw something like that, like especially one with all of the variants on there with a graphic.
Yeah, that's quite worrying to look at. Oh my God.
Yeah, I heard something quite a while ago that the South African variation was resistant to the vaccine.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So that's quite scary because if that just keeps happening, then the vaccines are redundant and it's back to square one, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's why people have to stay home right now too. drive down infections, so those variants aren't transmitted as much, and the vaccine can just immunize people as fast as possible.
Yeah, I mean that's the key. So hopefully people follow the rules and stay at home now, so we can finally get out of lockdown.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Because there's also a chance that some of these variants might be more dangerous than others.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
also a
exactly.
concern. But I'm
That's
thankful that the coronavirus wasn't like something like Ebola, where it's actually very deadly.
yeah, yeah, I understand. I get what you mean. But wow, I only assumed there were like five to six variants. There are hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll branch
Crazy.
out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have something actually I want to talk about. I think the question is why can the British Prime Minister's job be considered impossible? And I want to talk about this because I was recently this week I've been reading a lot about the history of Britain's prime ministers, and I actually found out that in 1902 to 1905, Britain was the world's most powerful country. But I found surprisingly that the prime minister's job was actually incredibly easy. So
Mm.
yeah, I think his name was Alfred Balfour. He was the prime minister at that time. However, I found out that he actually spent most of his time on a golf course in Scotland. So he had quite an easygoing prime minister. So I asked the question, why has Balfour's surprisingly easy ride as PM recently become so difficult and uncomfortable? And yeah, I think we can simply safely say that like the careers of the last two prime ministers, David Cameron and Theresa May, they've ended quite dreadfully, right? And
Yeah.
even our current prime minister, we can see he's just all over the place with like COVID and just
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
really. So I think now you can also say that it's possible that all of these top tier and top ranking jobs are heading in that same direction of impossibility due to like things like media and hyper fast change. But I also think there's also a factor that it's just a matter of individual incompetence because like who's the chancellor of Germany? Is it Angela Merkel?
Angela Merkel, yeah.
Angela Merkel.
Yeah, she's been in office 16 years now, and also even like in the US, the arguably much harder role of president of the United States, both Trump and Obama, they still had like plenty of time to play golf, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think may well be just a matter of direct incompetence. I feel like our prime minister, like recent prime ministers, have just lacked the ability to lead, and that's why it just made it seem like an impossible job to deal with
Mm.
in that sense. So I just wonder, what do you guys think? Has the British prime minister's job just become too difficult to handle?
It depends on what actions a prime minister like deems to take in such various circumstances. If you think about COVID, Boris Johnson
Yeah.
has handled this situation to be quite frank as a joke. Like
Yeah,
there has been
like with the initial late reaction to the pandemic that cost thousands of lives,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. Like there was no plan set
Yeah.
and there was just disorganization. And even if you remember like before December, oh no, just after December, I think it was January the 5th, he said that there'll be 2 weeks of schools to close and we
Yeah.
return on January the 18th. And then the younger parents sent their kid on the Monday, but then he closed schools the next day. So it's just it just shows how
Yeah.
he had no plan even throughout during this pandemic. And you would think that he would learn from the first lockdown, but he really didn't. So
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
like,
it's impossible, but it's how you deal with the circumstances
Yeah.
that ultimately
Adding on
happen.
to that, like even with Theresa May, remember she had
Yeah,
like a shockingly empathy-free visit to Grenfell Tower when that tragedy hit.
yeah,
And that's just another circumstance. She handled that so badly.
yeah,
And Yeah, that's just, in my opinion, I think. Also, I found out after doing more research that British prime ministers have to perform a wider range of jobs than almost any other world leader. And because of that, in my opinion, I don't think no prime minister can actually do all these jobs at like a full potential because there's so many of them,
Yeah,
and it just sets them up for failure in that sense.
yeah,
Actually, I disagree with that
Yeah,
because I think often when being a leader or being in a leadership role like a prime minister, it
yeah,
comes down to the individual's competency on how good they are at leading
yeah. Actually,
and
yeah,
yeah.
and
Well, that's
and
why
their
I think also.
organization.
I also
They
think, yeah, our prime ministers has just been incompetent in that sense. They don't
yeah,
have the ability to lead people.
yeah. So often they don't actually do their job, or they don't um sign up for their job for the reasons that they should. Often
Yeah,
it's for more something like fame or power or importance rather than the actual want to lead a country.
and it's
So
also argument that like our prime ministers have started to behave like presidents because there's
mhm,
like things like they keep their cabinet ministers on tight leashes. They talk to the media before their own MPs, and they
mhm,
control everything, including wars. And in elections, they run like highly personal campaigns.
yeah,
And the issue bit is that is, unlike presidents, prime ministers are constrained by something. Talking about the parliament, and I think because of that, it doesn't work anymore because they're mixing presidential with prime ministerial in that sense.
Right, because the prime minister, unlike presidents, especially the president of the United States, the prime ministers here, they're directly involved in the legislature, so they actually go to
Yeah,
parliament. They talk on issues, about issues, but um,
yeah. The
the president
president,
doesn't do
like,
that. Yeah.
yeah, presidents get final say usually, whereas
Mm,
prime ministers is usually a group decision in that sense.
right.
It should be at least a parliament decision.
yeah,
Yeah. I think so Britain's initial denial to the seriousness of the pandemic, that's also like caused greater speculation into the workings and trust in our current government. And then you could argue that, oh, but they've been done so well in like the rollout of vaccines. But I don't think that's a reason for you to abandon this idea because at the end of the day, I think the government has still failed due to like the thousands of unnecessary deaths that could have easily be prevented if they saw the seriousness earlier.
mm,
So yeah, I personally think that our prime ministers now have too much on their plate to deal with, and it's resulting in quite catastrophic disasters.
yeah. Okay, so speaking about Boris Johnson, he recently attended the United Nations Security Council session where he mentioned that climate change is a threat to our security, and it's the first time a British prime minister has chaired such a meeting since 1992. And there were other speakers at this meeting: David Attenborough, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and climate activist Nisreen El-Siam. So the prime minister also highlighted throughout this conference the measures that the UK was taking to reduce emissions and stressed the importance of helping vulnerable countries to adapt and build resilience, whilst a Greenpeace spokesman accused the Prime Minister of weapons grade hypocrisy for demanding action while planning new coal mines at home and stripping funds for cutting energy efficiency measures. Uh, This is the latest in a series of prime minister rallying calls on climate change, and this year is providing a remarkable stage for Boris Johnson's ambition on the topic, from the Security Council to the chairmanship of G7 in June, culminating in the vital Glasgow Climate Summit in November. So, what do you guys think about Boris Johnson's attitude towards climate change?
Well, isn't it also, don't you think, a bit hypocritical? Because isn't he a supporter of like HS2 and all of that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit ironic that he's trying to he's doing all of this stuff for climate change, but then he still wants to go with carry on with HS2.
Yeah, he's ruining countrysides, and yeah, he goes to
That's
this
a
meeting
bit,
and
yeah. It's a lot of hypocrisy there, in that sense.
I think something like the HS2 isn't as globally known as something like a speech by Boris Johnson. So I
Yeah.
also sometimes think that when people know that a wider or a larger audience is going to be watching them, they sometimes change their views on things just to seem more likable.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
maybe it's something like that.
Again, like from before, it's all personal campaigns now.
yeah, he's just
Yeah.
trying to get as much as
But then at the same time, there's also a lot of pros and cons with HS2 because by going with it, you're destroying a lot of like habitat. Okay, but then there's also the argument that by doing this, you're reducing car pollution, carbon
Yeah.
emissions. So I understand the pros and cons, but I still think the cons outweigh the pros in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it is hypocritical of him. I mean, it's not like as mentioned. I like an experience. I've never actually seen him talk about climate change before. So this is his
Yeah.
first time, and with all the HS2 stuff.
That was quite an interesting point Advait brought out that Boris Johnson's speech is more well known more well known than the HS2 stuff. So
Yeah,
it could be like like all politics in the end of the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Yeah. I think personal interest does come into a bit, but I think it is a starting point. I mean, none of the prime ministers since 1992 chaired those meetings, and I think it's
Yeah.
good that Boris Johnson attended such a meeting. It's a nice starting point. Maybe
Yeah.
we can
It's a
see some
statement.
more constructive things coming from him in the future, which I
Yeah.
look forward to.
It is a big statement to do that.
Mm,
Especially if you're the first one since 1992.
mm,
Right.
But then you just also have to be wary. Is this we don't know if this could be a political stunt for him to remain in office.
mm.
So
Well, we
we hope.
hope that it's step in the right direction towards working on climate change and reducing carbon emissions throughout the UK.
Yeah.
I also heard that the UK wants all electric powered cars by 2030.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
relatively
I've
very
heard that as
close.
well.
That's very
Which should be
relatively
good.
yeah. That's a very good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
That could be actually done. It will be a ban. It will be a ban on diesel cars. I think in 2030. I think that's what
Yeah,
they said.
I think they're actually going to stop all imports and exports of diesel powered cars. It's going to only be electric.
Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, in ESS today, we Miss Grinham, our teacher, she oh yeah, okay. Doesn't matter. She's not gonna listen to this anyway. Anyway, our teacher, she actually brought up an interesting topic about how coronavirus, the lockdown and all of that, there's an argument that it's completely reversed all of this progression in for climate change and all of that because of almost everything now is with plastic, even our mask, and that's damaging the environment. But then, is there also a counter argument to say that because of lockdown, we've seen a lot more benefits to the environment, especially like what we've seen like dolphins come into Venice for the first time in like 20 years, which is amazing.
Mm.
There's air pollution in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can argue from both sides because um, there's been an increase in use of single-use plastics
Yeah,
because
masks.
you want to try and touch as little things as possible. So if you're able to
Mm.
just throw away everything you touch, that would obviously be ideal.
Yeah,
So, but on the other hand, in I think around May or June of last year, um, there was an article saying that the amount of coal used in the UK was at an all-time low.
yeah, I
Coal
remember.
used for power.
Yeah, I actually think there's a lot more good things that have happened because of lockdown to do with the environment than bad things.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, there is this huge plastic issue that I think we've just made worse in the past 2 years.
Mm.
I think you have to weigh, up against each other because you can't really remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere as you can, remove plastics from beaches or whatnot, roads and stuff, or dumps. So I think it's a good opportunity for countries to, focus on reducing their emissions before, lockdowns start being lifted and people get the opportunity to emit more carbon by using their cars and other modes of transportation.
Yeah, I also actually, yeah, but at least hopefully that there won't be any more. There won't be any more increases in the carbon emissions because if we are going by 2030 a full ban on diesel cars, we should hopefully not ever increase after that in carbon emissions based through specifically through cars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In ESS, we actually did that quiz or something like a form to find out your carbon footprint.
Oh yeah,
Or, that was
I
quite
was
cool, actually.
yeah I was quite unhappy with mine.
Yeah, I wasn't at the highest level, but I think I was somewhere in the middle,
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
which hopefully I should be able to reduce because
Yeah, I
obviously
think
it's something good.
all of ours have definitely reduced because of lockdown. But
Yeah.
yeah,
hopefully we can probably keep that going after lockdown as well.
Yeah.
Didn't we
Uh,
also wasn't also last year there was something like the ozone layer started to close a bit, which was good.
yeah. Yeah, I was starting to rebuild.
Yeah. So there are a lot of benefits to this lockdown that people should talk about more, I think.
Yeah. We can link the quiz in the description of this podcast.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
um, you guys listening can try it out and see what your
Yeah.
carbon footprint is.
Even comment what it is after.
Yeah.
Some people got 300. See if you can beat 300.
But you're trying not to beat it.
Okay, so to conclude the podcast, we'd like to include a few ending remarks. And do you guys have anything to say?
No, just thank you for listening. We
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Thank you for leaving the suggestions. We'd like more suggestions every week if you guys could do that. And yeah, we hope that in the future we're going to have some potential guests joining us on this podcast to talk about whatever they want.
Yeah, we have some really cool stuff planned out. So make sure to keep listening every week, and
Yeah.
we hope to improve the podcast as it goes on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and thank you
comment.
again for the support on the first podcast. That was unreal.
Yeah, let's hope for the same numbers. And comment your suggestions down below in the
Thank you guys
comments.
for listening. We're the Student Lounge. Bye.